Welcome to the WaltSurFootball.com podcast. This is episode 300. Joined once again by Jacob Kamaker of the Sporting News. Jacob, how are you?
I'm doing great. I'm pretty pumped that it's the 300th episode. We were doing the math before. If you listen to one of these podcast episodes for every day of the year, you'd be filled with like 10 months worth of podcast material. Granted, these go a ways back, but still, that's pretty crazy.
Yeah, if you wanted to watch our 2018 picks, you can go ahead. It's probably on YouTube somewhere. So this is our Week 7 NFL picks against the spread episode. So it's really cool to be at 300. So thanks to you and Kenny and also Matt BI, who we started with to make this happen for 300 episodes. It's awesome. But yeah, we're going to talk about our Week 7 NFL picks. First of all, how'd you do in your Week 6 NFL picks?
Week 6 was okay. I went 8-6, so I still haven't had a losing week in terms of, record. But my big unit picks, the 3 in the early afternoon, they all failed. I believe I had the Vikings, the Ravens, and the Colts. And the Colts got behind early. The Vikings were terrible. And the Ravens had the cover and then absolutely blew it against the Eagles for really no reason. They just let the Eagles get back in the game. So that was frustrating to lose, but I'll take a winning week, even if it's breaking even in the money column. At least I'm doing a little something right.
Yeah, that was so frustrating. The Ravens failing the cover. I think that prevented us from going 3-2 in the Super Contest, which is kind of a bummer. But 2-3 is one of our worst weeks. I'll take it. This Week 6 was just brutal just because of that game. Also, I had the Redskins. I had them right in the Super Contest, but late in the week, it dropped to a pick'em, and I got the pick'em, and they ended up winning. They ended up losing by 1, so I didn't win the bet. So it was just a bloodbath overall. 5-9 with the picks overall, counting the Ravens blown cover and the Redskins, loss with the pick'em. But yeah, I mean, I feel like I missed some things, so I can at least know how to correct it. Some bad luck. What are you going to do? So I'm expecting a rebound in Week 7. I wasn't a big fan of the Week 6 slate. I only had 2 picks of higher than 3 units, more than 3 units. It was the Redskins and the Jaguars, which I don't know what happened to Jacksonville. That was a disaster. But I wasn't a big fan of the card, and yet I just lost all the medium-sized bets. It's just awful. So I think this Week 7 card looks better. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I agree. This one's significantly better. I felt like Week 5 and 6, the line started to really tighten up where I could see a case for either side. I'm pretty sure I had no bets of more than 3 units these past 2 weeks, which usually I have at least one big bet, but I didn't really have any. So this week, I think there are some sides we could definitely take advantage of. So hopefully we'll be on the same side in those games.
Yeah, I hope so. I loved Week 5. Week 6, I wasn't a fan of. What happened to my hair? It's it's all gone. This is my first haircut in like 2 months, so it's nice to not to worry about it at all. So before we begin with the picks, please hit subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. Send this link out to someone who likes football. Hit the notification bell, like the video. That help us out a lot. It really would. So if you want to help out the show and have 300 more episodes of this, that would mean a lot. And so let's move on to the first game. So the Thursday night game, we have a Thursday night game this week, unlike last week. So it's the Giants at the Eagles. This line opened up Eagles -6.5, and it went down to 3.5 because of some numerous injuries the Eagles have, including Miles Sanders. The line's back up to 4. I saw some 4.5s like a half hour ago, but they disappeared. So who you like in this game?
Yeah, I want to first say that technically the Monday night game, Chiefs-Bills, was a Thursday night game, and I did cover that one. So I'm still undefeated, 6-0 now on Thursday Night Football, 5-0 on the actual day of Thursday. So hopefully I keep this going. I like the Eagles in this one. I know they're still missing a ton of pieces. They're missing so many offensive linemen. It's ridiculous. They're probably going to be without Goddard this Thursday. I don't think he's going to be activated from IR this week. I know he's eligible, but I think they would just buy him the time to, fully recover. We don't know if Alshon Jeffrey or Deshaun Jackson are going to play. I'm assuming they will. But between all the injuries they have on offense, it's absurd. But they're playing the Giants, and the Giants on offense are not very good. And I think the Eagles defense matches up pretty well with them in terms of being able to get pressure on Daniel Jones. And that was something that Washington couldn't really do much on Sunday. They only got 1 sack on him. He only threw, I think, 19 times, but there really wasn't a ton of pressure. But when he was under pressure, that's when he makes his mistakes and kind of makes bad throws. The Eagles have the personnel to do that. And, Washington, even without pressuring them, only allowed the Giants to score 13 offensive points. I think the Eagles could have a similar output if they can get some pressure on him. And I do think Jackson and Jeffrey come back for the Eagles offense. And whether that helps them just in terms of depth or it helps them on the field in any way whatsoever, I think having 3 legit passing weapons for Carson Wentz would be pretty huge. And, I have to give him credit. Wentz has played very well lately. It hasn't always been, at the point of the game where it's like, oh, all right, we're going to go win this. But he was able to kind of make some plays late against the Ravens and get them into a game that they had no business in being in late. So I think that he can lead them against the Giants defense. So I like the Eagles here. There was a question about Engram destroying the Eagles linebackers. I like that in theory. In practice, every time Evan Engram has a good matchup, he does absolutely nothing. Like last week against Washington, he was supposed to have a big game. I think he caught 2 passes for 30 yards. So I don't think Engram makes a big impact here. Apologies on that, JL Reed.
Yeah, it's really disappointing. Like you said, Engram, whenever he has a good matchup, he just always is a bust. Against the Rams a couple weeks ago too, he just didn't come through. So while it does look good on paper, I don't know if I'm going to do it. Like maybe. I don't know what his price is in the showdown slate, but maybe you'll put him in if he's cheap. But if he's like on the expensive side, then I wouldn't use Engram. So I like the Eagles here. So normally I think you take the underdog in these NFC East battles. Like the underdog almost always covers. These teams know each other so well, and usually one team is not that much better than the other. So if this were a Sunday game, I think I would consider the Giants maybe. But given that this is a Thursday night game, I would take the Eagles because the Thursday night game really goes to the better team as long as that team's focused, because there's not as much time to prepare. And the Eagles, I think, are clearly the better team, especially if they have one of Deshaun Jackson or Alshon Jeffrey back. It definitely sounds like Jackson will play. Not sure about Jeffrey, but at least having Jackson on the field will preoccupy James Bradbury, and that means Travis Fulgham will have a better matchup. Also, there's a chance Lane Johnson might play. He may not be 100%. It's probably not going to be 100%. But having him on the field is definitely going to be better than having the backup on the field. So there's a lot of hope for the Eagles. So if Lane Johnson and Jackson suit up, I think I might bet on the Eagles. If they don't, I'm still going to pick the Eagles, but I'm not going to bet them.
Yeah, I think that's fair. And you hit on a key point that I love on Thursday night football games, not just betting the better side, but if the better side is at home and has the advantage in the trenches, I think usually you want to go with that side. Now, the offensive lines for both teams are pretty shaky, but I tend to like the pass rush ability of the Eagles line better than the pass rush ability of the Giants line. I like the Giants 3-man front. They're very good against the run, but I don't think they get a lot of pressure. So I just like the Eagles for that reason too. Home team, Thursday night football, better team, go with it.
Yeah, the Giants just don't get any pressure. They don't do much well at all. So I don't think they're going to beat the Eagles, but I guess we'll see. Crazier things have happened.